can you say about the ubiquitous GM truck? It hauls, it pulls, it takes the dog to the vet. All right, maybe someone at this GMC Chevy Show and Shine can put it better.
They're all here, and it's awesome.
For part 2 of the Brothers Truck Parts GMC Chevy Show and Shine, we return to Canyon RV Park in Anaheim, California, to delve further into the legacy of the General Motors pickup truck.
It's a 1951 Chevy. They designate it as a 3100, which is a half-ton. The car club I'm in, Duke's Riverside, we like our cars to look original, but to have a couple things to actually make them run a little bit better, to handle the freeways. So we'll change things like rear end gearing. I actually have a 700 R4 bolted to a 235 straight 6. A lot of people wouldn't know, they have to look at it for a little while, and that's how we like to hide the modern technology. It is a lot of work, especially for doing what's called new old stock, NOS, original part, in a box from 51, 52, 53. Once you start chasing down all these parts, it turns into a hobby, and sometimes it turns into an obsession if you're not careful. A 350 crate motor, for instance. I mean, you could probably get a nice one for $2,000 to $3,000. It's almost twice as much to rebuild a 235. So, I mean, things like that, you have to make the decision to really want to do this, to really want to keep it, somewhat original, and stick to it, because it doesn't look right, in my opinion, when you pop the hood of a vehicle like this and there's a V8. Modern things like brakes, disc brakes, things that make it safe is one thing, but I'm sorry, no V8 for me. My favorite thing is to sit back and watch people come up and like it. Oh, look at, I remember riding in the back, and it's just really cool to keep these old cars alive.
Chevy trucks, the people, everybody here is so friendly and just coming around with everybody. It's great.
It's a 1951 Chevy pickup, 3100 series. This truck actually was inside of department stores. There was a guy that used to go around in a helicopter and buy them from Old Navy. And through a connection in drag racing, this gentleman told me that he had 3 of them, so I purchased those 3 and to make one. The front end is one truck, the bed is another truck, the doors are from another truck. It's got a TCI chassis, it's got a Mustang front end, it's got a 9-inch Ford, it's got a 4-link suspension done by TCI in Ontario. It's got a 350 with a 350 turbo, and it's got a little power, and that's all you need for something that you're just going to ride around, go to cruise nights, You start putting a little too much power, and then you get tickets, and then, shouldn't have done that. I used to paint a lot of race cars and street rods, so I wanted something different. Every truck that you see is either red or orange, black or white. So I seen a Mercedes one day with this butternut color, and I said, well, that'd be nice for the bottom. And as I'm driving along, I see a Ford Focus, and it had that black cherry, and I said, well, maybe I'll incorporate that. So then I put that gold stripe in the middle with green striping, and everybody says, what are you going to use green in there for? I said, well, you got to stand it out, The interior was done by Mark Lopez and Montclair. It's like a rust leather, and he did a really extremely nice job. So at the end of the day, it's a brand new vehicle. It's only got 300 miles. I'm the National Tech Director for NHRA. I go to 26 national events. I oversee Top Fuel and Funny Cars and among all the rest of the sportsmen. I've been doing that for 30 years. In my spare time, this is what I do. Go hide in the garage, don't worry about drag racing, and build cars.
Good variety. There's a little bit of everything for everybody,
I have a 1955 Chevy stepside. I started it about 6 to 7 years ago, somewhere around there. When I first got it, it was total farm truck, totally beat to heck. Just dings and dents and unbelievable. I never thought I could ever have a truck come out as well, but basically it's nostalgia, old school build. I did a frame off restoration, built everything in my garage in Garden Grove, California. Put the Camaro front end on it and lowered it, and did the rear end and transmission and set the whole truck up right there in the garage. We went ahead and had the paint and body done by JC Restoration up in Huntington Park. The interior is just basic leather, two-tone, and my wife actually did that. She did all the colors on it, and she also designed and did all the staining of the wood, the white oak to a cranberry color to match the truck. She's been a great help on this project. I think this is it for the trucks. I'm interested in doing a 57 Bel Air. That's what I have for my wife now. That's my other project.
This edition of the Lokar Car Show is being brought to you by ARP, the world leader in fastener technology. Original Parts Group, the world's largest source for GMA body parts and accessories. Brothers Truck, your #1 source for 1947 to 87 Chevy and GMC truck restoration. And by Lokar, quality plain and simple. Welcome back to the Brothers Truck Parts GMC Chevy Show and Shine at the Canyon RV Park. The longest running nameplate in the world is the Suburban. At one time a class of vehicle made by all manufacturers, it graced both GMC and Chevy SUVs till the year 2000, when it was assigned exclusively to Chevrolet. Customizers are learning to love them, like this example.
My vehicle is a 1965 Chevrolet Suburban. I got my start in custom vehicles in the mini truck scene of the 80s. And so I've always been familiar with working and customizing on newer vehicles, which are basically you buy it from the dealership, put some wheels on it, do some lowering, and you're good to go. This was my first attempt at restoring and customizing an older truck. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun because it was very difficult searching for parts, finding out that they don't reproduce certain parts, so having to go to swap meets, search the newspapers, and try to find everything I needed to piece it together. I bought the truck in 2005. I'm technically the second owner. The original owner passed away and the truck was sold in an estate sale. It was daily driven, probably for construction, based on the different colors that were scattered throughout the inside of it. It had some substantial damage, so that we had to replace a panel on it. And it took us 2 years to get it to a point where it was painted, it was upholstered, and the truck debuted at the SEMA convention in Las Vegas in 2007. But at that time, the truck didn't run. It wasn't wired, it didn't have fuel going through it, the brakes weren't working. But I was approached by a company that wanted to have the vehicle on display. So we put the truck together with some help from my friends, but we didn't actually get the truck running and put back the way it is now until 2011. The idea when we started was to have something that wasn't going to go too far over the top. Something that was still going to be comfortable to drive in every day. My wife, said, I don't want it to be like the other little trucks that you had before that we bouncing around everywhere, and you're going to build something like this, make it fun, make it enjoyable for me. And so I followed those guidelines and I got her involved with it. We had just been married only a few years, so I said, look, you're starting to give me input here, so why don't you start helping me with picking some colors? And we came up with this burnt orange and cream after we saw another hot rod at a Good Guy show. The bigger focal points on this paint job and the truck overall is the pinstriping. There's a pinstriper that I've known for many years out of Wooded, California. His name is Dennis Jones. He was pinstriping since the early 60s. He even did some stuff for Mickey Thompson back in the days. He would stripe some of his race cars. I approached him, I said, this is your blank canvas, you go to town. And he did. He does the striping all freehand with an adhesive, comes back with the gold leaf, turns it by hand, and then applies a clear over it, and then the painter then came and applied a clear coat over the pinstriping. So it's a lengthy process, but at the last San Francisco Rod and Custom Show, it won Best Pinstriping. Dennis Jones was particularly ecstatic about it because he's never won an award, especially outside of his hometown. Going back to that 60s custom elements, we did the tuck and roll interior. Not typically seen in a pickup truck or a Suburban, but I kind of wanted to blend different elements, and there's also some wood in there. When we were debating between doing a pickup truck or the Suburban, I wanted to do the pickup truck because of doing the wood floor, something that just screamed old truck, I thought, well, we can still do this in the Suburban and be totally different. Now I sit here and I've really been having a good time. I get the thumbs up when I'm driving down the freeway. When I take it to work sometimes on Friday, it's what they're talking about at the water cooler, as they say. And I think I'm going to hang on to it.
For a long time called the Suburban Carryall, before the latter name was eventually dropped altogether, the terms were frequently interchangeable even on the same model, like this example.
I own a 1964 Chevy Carryall. I've been owning this vehicle since I was 18, so I'm 36 now. And it has taken me a while to get it the way it is. You could say 18 years from this point. It took me the first time ever here in the show. It started as like everything. It was just a pile of rust. Pretty much I did most of myself with the help of family members. Some of them helped me out, some of them criticized me. But other than that, I was really stubborn about it. I didn't want to give up. maybe discouraging, I could say, when your engine is overheating all the time. It's like you're trying to find the problem, what's going on. Until you find the problem, that's very relieving. Like, okay, I got this. Raise the fuel pressure to whatever specs it set there, and now it's running fine. I'm proud of what I did. I pretty much did everything myself, except for the paint and the upholstery. The engine was built by a teacher at Garfield High School in East LA as well. It's fuel injected. I did all the wiring harness myself, fuel lines, has sway bars, two-wheel suspension, front disc brake, all the seat notch at the back, the suspension work, and readjusting the geometry of the shocks. I turned my nail off, had to call my wife to give me a Band-Aid because I was bleeding. Back in those days, 18 years ago when I started into work, the information was not accessible as it is now. So the information was very limited. But I think now a lot of people are more aware of what's out there, and it's not that difficult. Just you gotta know your resources and just ask questions.
Welcome back to the Brothers Truck Parts GMC Chevy Show and Shine from Anaheim, California, and another variation on customizing GM's classic SUV.
It's a 1971 Chevy Suburban 3-door with barn doors in the back. The name for this one is Purple Crush because it's purple and it's big and it's my crush. When my husband and I met, he had a 71 Chevy pickup, so we have always done lowrider shows, car shows. This was a daily driver. It was okay, it had no cancer. The car itself was in good condition. We primered it and drove it that way for quite a while, a couple years. But otherwise, body was solid. And I decided I wanted it for my car. So we fixed it up and now it's mine. We probably spent about 2.5 years putting it all together, paint, interior. My husband did the interior himself. I knew I wanted it purple. I actually matched the color of the Suburban to the seat belts that I found at the swap meet. So it's pretty much all mine. We did the work ourselves, a lot of the work ourselves, but it was, as we went, we just did more and more to it. The audio and the video, I don't even really know what's in here anymore. We have the couples TVs here in the back. This was all fiberglass we had done at Stereo Connection in Anaheim. The stroller in the back is a 1946, I believe, baby carriage. And it was blue when we got it original, and we had it painted to match. Just for show. That's all the novelties, it's all the accessories you can find and that type of thing for your year. The in loving memory of Jay Bueno is our friend who was a photographer. He worked for Lowrider magazine and he passed away 2 years ago. You know, we do it as a family thing, so for me it's important because my kids were involved in it as well, and the fact that my husband and I built it together and we did a lot of the work, that's what stands out the most to me. We actually have 3 cars altogether. We have this one, we have a 53 Chevy station wagon and a 67 Impala. My daughters have lowrider bikes, so it's definitely a family affair for us, and we'll probably keep them all in the family. I don't think they're going anywhere. We do have 2 Harleys as well, so if we had to make a sacrifice, it wouldn't be this one or the 53 station wagon, I'll tell you that.
It's actually our first year, and we're looking forward to coming every year after that.
And where they're coming is a unique facility located in Anaheim, as explained by park manager Brian Bush.
They like the event a lot because of the trees and the grass atmosphere. They've had other events in different areas such as parking lots and those type of things. They've outgrown that. They've come to our park. They've been here about 17 years now, and they are gradually growing out of this park. But it's a great event, a lot of cars, a lot of spectators. They enjoy the park, and it's a great time for families. We have other car shows and truck shows. We also have dog shows. We have a youth area where we deal with Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, and church groups. So all these types of events that we have here, people come in for these events and they find out that they have this park. We're 64 acres right now. We have 146 full hookup RV sites, and we also have cabins on the property. We have a 64-foot ropes course here as well, so that brings in people. It's an outside vendor that runs that type of ropes course, and that again brings people in, and they find out that there's this great park in the middle of Orange County.
Want to give your ride show and go quality? Check out this week's Lokar Lowdown.
This week's Lokar Lowdown, we are going to be shifting manually. Now, Brian Downard, a lot of folks think of Lokar for automatic transmissions and shifters, but you guys have the 4, 5, and 6-speed guys totally covered.
We have that as well, yes ma'am. We've got a lot of different shifter levers available depending upon your application. We have our billet that are windowed to match our pedals, our door handles if you want to go with that type of a look, a more higher tech look. If you're looking at a street machine or an older muscle car, we've got the round tube type design that have a more elegant look to them. We've even got like the street rod guys covered, even with our Goolsby design, our billet arm we have there as well.
And then look at all the different choices we have when it comes to the shifter knobs.
Yeah, we've got knobs from your standard, your black, white, or your ivory and 4, 5, and 6-speed patterns, as well as we've got a whole line now of billet where you can go with polished, you can go with a machine finished or our midnight series as well.
And lots of choices when it comes to the boots, whether we want to go all the way up or the short ones.
We've got boots and boot bezels to go with everything that you would need to help you accomplish the look that you're looking for. You know, we've even got an adapter here that you can use if you're using the new Venture transmission out of the S10s. We've got an adapter that allows you to use any of our levers with that transmission as well.
And we can see all of this online on your website.
Yes, you can.
All right, that's what I like. Just go to lokar.com and remember, made in the USA, quality, plain and simple. And you can also check out Lokar on their Facebook page.
This edition of the Lokar Car Show is being brought to you by Thunder Den, the ultimate motorcycle garage. Another quality built product from Buck Ridge Cabins and Outdoors. Derby City LEDs, selling high quality LED light bars to the off-road community. Brothers Truck, your #1 source for 1947 to 87 Chevy and GMC truck restoration. And by Lokar, quality plain and simple. Welcome back to Anaheim, California, and the Brothers Truck Parts GMC Chevy Show and Shine.
It's a 1951 Chevy pickup, 3100. Frame off, restoration, custom built frame, chassis, paint, body, interior, motor, everything. Took roughly 3 years. I got it from an acquaintance of a friend, and he had a shop in California, Riverside, California, and I was introduced to him. I went down, saw it, and we made the deal and picked it up. It was just the body and chassis, no motor, no bed. It was pretty much frame. This was my first build, so that was the toughest to come up with what I wanted to do and what I wanted to have. And this behind me is what I wanted. I just couldn't think of it at the time. The guys that I work with, Air to Find Hot Rod, is in Las Vegas. Zach and Jason, we corroborated all the ideas, suggestions, and this is what we came up with. Engine's LS1 out of 2004 GTO with a transmission, and it was dynoed at 319 at the wheel. The suspension is got a AccuAir air rise system. It's got a triangulated 4-link rear suspension. Frame's been all boxed. Interior, the seat is from a 2011 Colorado Chevy pickup. It had a headrest built into it. We chopped that off. The frame for the seat was built, modified, a new floor. It was all rusted, so we had to cut it out, put a new one in. The dash was custom built by Zach at Define. The carpeting and the interior was all done by Dream Car Upholstery in Las Vegas. And kind of funny is that the speaker box that we built for it, I couldn't find anyone to do it. And my neighbor stepped up to the plate and he did a fantastic job. The paint was painted by Sam's Auto Body in Las Vegas. I've been there before, we've been friends for a while, and I picked out a blue color that I wanted. And as I was walking through the shop, there was a Nissan GTR, and this was the color. So I looked at the sample that he's given me, and I looked at the car, and I'm going with this one. They did a fantastic job over there. This wasn't the original start or plan. It just snowballed from modifying one part of the truck to another. I mean, ultimately, this is what I wanted. I just didn't have the funds or the guts to tell my wife that this is what it was going to cost, but we worked into it slowly. Well, I haven't really got it out on the open road and opened it up yet, but I will soon.
It's a 1952 GMC 100. It's lowered, custom shaved, custom paint, custom everything. To me, the front end of this truck makes the truck. The front bumper is something from the very beginning that we wanted to do, and it's a C10 bumper upside down, heavily modified, chop cut in the middle about 20 times, and there's a 1/4-inch gap all the way around that bumper. The dashboard is just heavily modified, vintage air conditioning system, AccuAir. The glove compartment is shrunk down to size. The bed is oak. It's stained to match kind of the color and theme of the truck. Everything is shaved. It's airbags. It's sitting on the ground. It's just a beautiful truck called Sexual Chocolate. I'm a huge Eddie Murphy fan, and it's from the movie Coming to America, and everybody always does the House of Color root beer color. If I'm gonna do a brown truck, I'm gonna do something out of this world. So we custom mixed it from orange and black House of Color and just mixed it until I liked it. And then on top of that, we put in gold ice pearl, and the way it looks now compared to when the sun's shining on it is just a completely different look. And then on the front, it's got gold leaf and the GMC emblem, and on the back and the tailgate. Grant Customs out of Northern California built a valance for that thing. LED strip lights, basically a plastic insert that goes into that thing, and the lights actually shine through the paint on the back valance. This is in my wheelhouse. I love 47 to 87 model trucks, and I actually had an opportunity to speak with one of the brothers of Brothers Truck Parts, and they're just amazing people. I love the ambiance. That's what this thing is all about, is enjoying each other's rides. I love the reactions that people have to the art that has been created here.
As the trophies are handed out, we close this edition of the Lokar Car Show series with some of the winners. Next week, the Super Summit Show in Norwalk, Ohio. See you then.
Current guy.